My beloved child, pause for a moment and listen carefully, because something important is unfolding around you right now. Not everything in your life is as visible as it seems. Some truths move quietly, behind words, behind smiles, behind ordinary moments that appear harmless on the surface. And today, you didn't arrive here by accident. There is a reason this message reached you at this exact moment. Before we continue, take a slow breath, and stay with me. Don't skip. Something huge is waiting for you. Because the truth you are about to hear is not meant to create fear. It is meant to bring clarity. There is someone connected to your life, someone whose presence has touched your path in ways you may not fully realize yet. This person has been carrying something inside their heart. Not something dark. Not something harmful. But something unspoken. Something they have struggled to reveal. And the strange part is, you may have already felt it. Have you ever experienced that quiet moment when someone speaks to you, yet something inside you whispers that there is more behind their words? A feeling that their eyes are holding a message their voice hasn't released yet? That subtle sensation is not random. Sometimes the heart understands things long before the mind does. And lately, the energy between you and this person has been shifting in a way that cannot stay hidden forever. Something is changing. Something is moving closer to the surface. But here is the part many people misunderstand. When someone hides something, it is not always because they wish to deceive. Sometimes it is because the truth they carry feels too powerful to express. Too vulnerable. Too meaningful. And this person has been standing at the edge of that moment for longer than you know. They have asked themselves questions again and again. Is it the right time? Will this change everything? Will they understand? And every time they came close to speaking, something inside them held them back. Not because the truth is negative, but because once it is spoken, nothing between you will ever feel the same again. You may not realize it, but the connection between you and this person has been quietly evolving. Moments you thought were ordinary, were actually signals. Small pauses in conversations. Unexpected eye contact. A feeling that something important was about to be said, but never quite arrived. Those moments were not empty. They were filled with words that remained unspoken. But here is where things begin to shift. Because silence cannot hold a meaningful truth forever. Eventually, the heart reaches a point where it can no longer carry the weight of what it feels. And that moment is getting closer now. Very close. Stay till the end, because understanding this next part may change how you see this entire situation. The truth this person has been holding is not random. It connects directly to you. To your presence. To the impact you have had on their life. There is something about you, something they have been noticing quietly. Something they have been thinking about far more than they ever planned to. And whether they admit it openly or not, your existence has created a shift inside them. But revealing that truth requires courage. And courage does not arrive all at once. It builds slowly. Moment by moment. Thought by thought. Until finally, The silence becomes impossible to maintain. Right now, this person is standing very close to that turning point. A moment where what has been hidden may finally step into the light. But the real question is not just what they will reveal. The real question is, how you will understand it when it happens. Because sometimes, the truth someone hides is not meant to break a connection. Sometimes it exists because the connection is far deeper than either of you expected. And in the next part, something surprising about this person's silence will begin to make sense in a way you may not have imagined. So stay with me. Don't skip. Because the reason this person has been hiding their truth is far more meaningful than it appears. Listen closely, because the silence you noticed before was never empty. It was full of meaning. There are moments in life when the heart begins to speak in ways that words cannot follow. Moments when someone carries a truth so significant that even they struggle to understand it. And this person has been living inside that moment for quite some time. Think back for a second. Remember the subtle signals, the small shifts in their behavior, the way certain conversations felt deeper than they appeared? Those were not coincidences. They were glimpses. Small windows into something this person has been holding within themselves. But here is the surprising part most people never realize. The truth they are hiding did not appear suddenly. It grew quietly, little by little, through the moments you shared. Through the way you listened. Through the way your presence brought a calm they did not expect. Through the way your energy made ordinary conversations feel meaningful, and at first, they didn't understand what was happening. They told themselves it was nothing. Just another passing connection. Just another friendly bond. But something inside them kept returning to the same thought again and again. You. Your words. Your presence. Your impact. And slowly, what they felt began to deepen in a way they could no longer ignore. But here is where the story becomes even more interesting. Because the truth they are hiding is not something negative. In fact, it is something incredibly sincere. Something genuine. Something that surprised even them. This person realized that your presence had become important in their life. Far more important than they expected. And that realization changed everything for them. Yet admitting that truth felt overwhelming. What if revealing it altered the balance between you? What if it changed the connection in ways they could not control? So they chose silence. Not because they wanted to hide from you, but because they needed time to understand what their heart was trying to say. And during that time, they began observing you more closely. The way you speak. The way you respond to the world. The way you carry your thoughts. Every small detail added another layer to the realization forming inside them. You may not have noticed, but you became someone they thought about often. More often than they planned. More often than they expected. And that quiet realization created a powerful internal moment. A moment where they understood something that surprised them completely. You were not just another person passing through their life. You were someone who had touched their world in a meaningful way. Someone who had awakened emotions they did not anticipate. But saying that out loud requires courage. And courage takes time. So they stayed silent. Yet silence has its limits. Eventually, the truth inside a heart begins to glow so brightly that it cannot remain hidden. That moment is approaching now. Closer than you think. And the next time you interact with this person, you may begin to notice something different. A deeper sincerity in their words. A pause before they speak. A look in their eyes that seems to carry more meaning than before. Because something inside them is preparing to change. Stay till the end, because the next part reveals the most surprising piece of this story. The reason this person has been holding their truth back may actually reveal something extraordinary about your connection. And when that realization finally surfaces, it may explain everything you have quietly been sensing all along. Don't skip. Something huge is waiting for you. There is a moment in every meaningful connection when the silence begins to speak louder than words. And that moment is quietly approaching between you and this person. You may not have realized it yet, but something inside them has been shifting day by day. What once felt like a simple feeling has now grown into something far deeper, something they can no longer ignore. For a long time, they believed keeping it hidden would protect the balance between you. They believed that if they stayed quiet, everything would remain safe, predictable, and unchanged. But the heart does not work that way. The heart has its own timing. And right now, their heart is standing at a doorway they cannot avoid forever. Because every time they think about staying silent, another thought appears in their mind. A thought about you. A memory of something you said. A moment where your presence made their world feel unexpectedly calm. Those moments have been replaying inside them again and again. And slowly, something remarkable happened. They realized that what they were hiding was not just a small truth. It was something meaningful, something powerful, something that could change the way both of you see this connection. Stay till the end, because understanding this realization may shift how you see everything. This person began asking themselves questions they had never asked before. Why do they think about you even during quiet moments of their day? Why does your happiness matter to them more than they expected? Why does the idea of losing your presence feel heavier than they imagined? At first, they tried to dismiss these thoughts. They told themselves it was temporary. They told themselves it was simply admiration. But the truth kept returning. Stronger each time. And then one day, something surprising happened inside their heart. A realization that arrived quietly, yet changed everything. They understood that what they were hiding was not just a feeling. It was the realization that you had become someone truly special to them. Someone whose presence had created a light in their life they did not expect. And that realization is what made them pause. Because revealing that truth could transform the connection between you in ways neither of you may have anticipated. But here is the part that may surprise you the most. The silence you have noticed, the hesitation, the unspoken tension in certain moments. It was never distance. It was carefulness. They have been protecting something delicate. Something sincere. Something they did not want to express until they felt certain it was real. And now, that certainty is slowly growing inside them. Don't skip, because the next part may reveal the moment when this hidden truth finally begins to surface. You see, there is a point where a person can no longer keep an important truth locked inside their heart. A point where silence feels heavier than honesty. And that moment is drawing closer. Closer than you may realize. Something huge is waiting for you. Because when this person finally decides to reveal what they have been holding inside, the conversation that follows may become one of the most meaningful moments in both of your lives. Something unusual has been happening beneath the surface of your connection, and most people would miss it completely. But you didn't. Somewhere deep inside, you sensed that there was more to this story. More behind the pauses in their voice. More behind the way their attention lingers when you speak. More behind the quiet moments when it feels like they want to say something, yet choose silence instead. That silence has not been empty. It has been preparation. Because the truth this person is holding has reached a point where it can no longer remain hidden forever. And the surprising part is this. The longer they tried to hide it, the clearer it became. You became someone they could not easily forget. Someone whose presence stayed in their thoughts long after conversations ended. Someone whose words echoed in their mind during moments when they were completely alone. At first they tried to ignore it. They convinced themselves it would fade. But instead, the feeling grew stronger. Day by day. Moment by moment. Until something inside them finally shifted. Stay till the end, because this is where the hidden truth begins to reveal its real meaning. One evening, during a quiet moment when everything around them slowed down, they realized something that surprised even them. They were no longer just thinking about you occasionally. They were imagining future moments with you. Conversations that had not happened yet. Laughing together in places they had never visited. Sharing ideas, stories, and dreams in ways that felt natural and effortless. And that realization stopped them completely. Because suddenly, the truth they were hiding became clear. You had become important in their world. Important enough that losing your presence would feel like losing something meaningful. But admitting that out loud felt like stepping into unknown territory. What if the timing was not right? What if the connection changed? What if their honesty created a moment they could never take back? These thoughts made them pause. Yet even while they hesitated, their heart kept moving closer to the truth. And here is something remarkable you may not know. Every meaningful connection reaches a turning point. A moment where silence becomes impossible to maintain. A moment where the truth rises naturally, almost as if it has been waiting patiently for the right time. That moment is beginning to form now. Very quietly. Very gently. You may notice small changes soon. Perhaps a deeper honesty in their tone. Perhaps a conversation that suddenly becomes more sincere than usual. Perhaps a moment where they finally allow the truth to step forward. Don't skip, because the next part may reveal the most unexpected realization of all. The truth this person has been hiding may not only change how they see you. It may also reveal something powerful about how your presence has shaped their life in ways they never predicted. Something huge is waiting for you. And when this truth finally comes into the open, it may explain why this connection has always felt different from the very beginning. Sometimes the most powerful truths are the ones that quietly grow in the background of our lives, waiting for the moment when they can finally be seen. Right now, something like that is happening in this connection. For a long time, this person believed that hiding their feelings was the safest path. They convinced themselves that keeping everything inside would protect the balance between you. But something unexpected has been changing inside them. The more they tried to keep their thoughts private, the more their heart kept returning to the same realization. You are not just someone who appeared briefly in their life. You are someone whose presence created a lasting impression. Someone whose words stayed with them long after conversations ended. Someone whose energy felt familiar in a way they could not easily explain. And slowly, something beautiful began to unfold inside their mind. They started to understand that their silence was not protecting the connection. It was only delaying a truth that wanted to be shared. Stay till the end, because the next part of this realization is something they themselves did not expect. One day, during a quiet moment of reflection, they asked themselves a simple but powerful question. Why does this connection feel so different? Why does being around you bring a sense of calm they rarely experience anywhere else? Why does the thought of your happiness matter to them more than they ever planned? The answer did not arrive instantly. But when it did, it felt like a quiet revelation. The truth they were hiding was not complicated. It was something sincere and deeply human. They had begun to care about you in a way that felt meaningful. Not in a rushed or impulsive way, but in a steady, thoughtful way that had grown naturally over time. That realization surprised them. Because they had never intended for their feelings to develop so deeply. And yet, once they understood it, everything started to make sense. The pauses in conversation. The thoughtful looks. The quiet moments when it seemed like they wanted to say something more. Those moments were all connected to the same hidden truth. You had become important in their life. Don't skip, because the most surprising part of this story is still unfolding. Right now, this person is standing very close to a decision. A decision about whether to keep their feelings unspoken, or finally allow honesty to open the door to a new chapter between you. And the interesting part is this. Sometimes the heart chooses its moment when we least expect it. A simple conversation. A shared laugh. A quiet moment where everything suddenly feels clear. That is often when the truth finally appears. Something huge is waiting for you. Because when this person finally finds the courage to reveal what they have been holding inside, the connection between you may begin to move in a direction neither of you imagined at the beginning of this journey. And in the next part, something even more surprising about this hidden truth will begin to surface. Right when you thought this story was simple, another layer quietly begins to reveal itself. Because the truth this person has been hiding is not only about their feelings. It is also about the realization that meeting you changed something inside them. At first, they believed you were simply another connection passing through their life. Someone they would talk to, share a few moments with, and eventually move on from. But something unexpected happened. Instead of fading, your presence stayed. Not just in their memory, but in their daily thoughts. They began noticing how certain conversations with you felt different from others. More natural. More meaningful. Almost as if time slowed down for a moment when you were speaking. And that feeling became impossible to ignore. Stay till the end, because this next realization may explain why their silence lasted so long. There was a moment when they finally admitted something to themselves. A quiet moment where honesty appeared in their thoughts without warning. They realized that the connection they feel with you is rare. Not something they experience often. Not something they can easily replace. And that realization created a powerful mixture of excitement and hesitation. Excitement, because finding a meaningful connection is something people search for throughout their lives. But hesitation, because revealing such an honest truth requires courage. Courage to be vulnerable. Courage to step beyond silence. Courage to risk changing everything between two people. So they waited. They observed. They tried to understand whether the connection they feel is truly real. But the more time passed, the clearer their answer became. The truth inside them did not fade. It only became stronger. They began imagining what life might feel like if they allowed themselves to be completely honest with you. Not just about small thoughts, but about the deeper appreciation they have developed for who you are. And that is the secret they have been quietly carrying. You have become someone whose presence feels meaningful to them. Someone who brought a sense of warmth into their life when they did not expect it. Don't skip, because something even more surprising is about to unfold. You see, there are moments in life when two people slowly begin realizing the same truth at the same time. Even if neither of them has spoken it yet. Those moments are rare. But when they happen, they create a turning point. And right now, this connection may be standing at the edge of that exact moment. A moment where silence finally gives way to honesty. A moment where the hidden truth finally finds its voice. Something huge is waiting for you. Because in the next part, the most unexpected realization of all will begin to appear. The reason this connection may feel so powerful to both of you, even before a single word has been spoken about it. Have you ever noticed how certain connections feel quietly destined, even before anyone speaks about them? That is the mystery slowly unfolding here. Because the truth this person has been hiding is no longer just a private thought inside their heart. It has become a realization that is beginning to shape the way they see you, and the way they see the future. For a long time, they believed their feelings were something temporary. A passing appreciation. A simple admiration that would eventually settle into normal friendship. But something unexpected kept happening. Every time they tried to place distance between their thoughts and this connection, they found themselves returning to the same realization. You matter to them. More than they planned. More than they ever expected when this journey first began. Stay till the end. Because the next discovery they made may surprise you even more. There was a moment when they looked back at the entire timeline of your connection. Every conversation. Every shared idea. Every quiet moment where words were exchanged without any pressure or expectation. And when they looked at it honestly, they noticed something remarkable. The connection never felt forced. It flowed naturally, like two paths quietly crossing in exactly the right moment. That realization made them pause. Because genuine connections like that are rare. In a world where so many interactions feel temporary, finding someone whose presence feels calm and meaningful is something people remember forever. And that is when they understood why they had been hiding their truth for so long. It was not uncertainty. It was respect for the connection itself. They wanted to be sure that what they felt was real before they spoke about it. But now, that certainty is beginning to form. Don't skip. Because the next moment in this story may reveal the most emotional realization yet. You see, something happened recently that made them see this connection from an entirely new perspective. A quiet realization that arrived without warning. They imagined what their life would feel like if you were no longer part of it. And that single thought changed everything. Because the idea of losing your presence did not feel normal to them. It felt significant. It felt like something meaningful would be missing. And that realization gave them clarity. The truth they have been hiding is not just about admiration. It is about the deep appreciation they feel for who you are. For the way you think. For the way your presence brings lightness into moments that might otherwise feel ordinary. Something huge is waiting for you. Because the next step in this story may be closer than either of you realize. A moment where silence finally transforms into honesty. And when that moment arrives, the truth this person has been carrying inside may open a conversation that changes everything between you in the most meaningful way. There are rare moments in life when a hidden truth finally begins to breathe. Not loudly. Not suddenly. But quietly, like the first light of dawn appearing after a long night. And that is exactly where this story is now. Because the truth this person has been hiding is no longer something they can easily keep inside. It has grown too real, too meaningful, and too connected to you. For a long time they believed they could carry it silently. They thought time would soften it. They believed the feeling might eventually fade. But the opposite happened. Every passing day made their realization clearer. You are not just someone who crossed their path. You became someone whose presence quietly shaped their thoughts, their moods, even the way they look at certain moments in life. And that realization changed everything. Stay till the end, because the moment they understood this truth may surprise you more than anything else. It happened during a very ordinary moment. No dramatic scene. No special event. Just a quiet pause in their day when they suddenly remembered something you once said. A simple sentence. Yet the way you said it, the sincerity behind your words, stayed with them longer than they expected. And that memory made them stop and think. Why do your words stay with them? Why do small interactions with you feel so meaningful? Why does your presence create a calm that they cannot easily explain? The answer arrived slowly. But when it did, it felt undeniable. You have become someone deeply important to them. Not because of grand gestures. Not because of anything dramatic. But because of something far more powerful. Authenticity. The way you show up as yourself. The way your presence feels natural and comforting. The way conversations with you feel genuine. Those qualities quietly touched something inside them. Don't skip, because the next realization they had may change how you see this entire situation. When they finally accepted their truth, another surprising thought appeared. They began wondering whether you might have sensed this connection too. Because sometimes two people feel something meaningful at the same time, even if neither of them has spoken about it yet. That silent understanding can exist between two hearts long before words appear. And that possibility is what now fills their mind. Something huge is waiting for you. Because the truth they have been hiding is no longer just a quiet thought. It is becoming a decision. A decision about whether to finally share what their heart has been holding all along. And when that moment arrives, the words they speak may reveal something far more powerful than you ever expected. Right at this point in the story, something subtle but powerful is beginning to shift. Not around you. Inside them. Because the truth they have been hiding has reached a moment where silence feels heavier than honesty. For so long they believed they could keep everything quiet, protect the connection, and avoid changing the balance between you. But something inside their heart has started asking a different question. What if the truth deserves to be shared? What if the connection between you was never meant to remain hidden behind polite conversations and careful distance? That question has been echoing in their mind more often than they expected. And every time it appears, the answer becomes clearer. You are not just a small chapter in their life. You are someone who unexpectedly became meaningful. Someone who brought a sense of warmth into their thoughts. Someone whose presence feels rare. Stay till the end, because what they realized next may explain everything. There was a quiet moment recently when they noticed something surprising. They were not just remembering your conversations. They were remembering how those conversations made them feel. The calm. The sincerity. The feeling that they could simply be themselves when speaking with you. And that feeling is not something people easily forget. It is something people search for. Something people recognize only a few times in their lives. That realization made them pause longer than usual. Because suddenly the hidden truth became impossible to ignore. Their connection with you feels different. Not louder. Not dramatic. But deeper. More genuine. And when someone recognizes a connection like that, something inside them begins to change. They start imagining what could happen if they stopped holding back. If they finally allowed honesty to speak. Don't skip, because the next realization they had may be the most important of all. They understood that hiding the truth was not protecting the connection anymore. It was preventing something meaningful from growing. And once that thought appeared, it refused to leave. Now they are standing at the edge of a moment that feels both exciting and uncertain. A moment where they may finally choose openness over silence. Because sometimes the most powerful step a person can take is simply telling the truth about what they feel. Something huge is waiting for you. Because when this person finally allows their hidden thoughts to become words, the connection between you may begin to reveal a depth neither of you fully saw before. And the next part may reveal the exact moment when that truth begins to surface. There comes a quiet instant in every meaningful story when everything suddenly becomes clear. No noise. No dramatic announcement. Just a simple realization that changes how someone sees everything. That moment is now approaching in this connection. Because the truth this person has been hiding is no longer just a feeling inside their heart. It has become a decision waiting to be made. For weeks, maybe even longer, they have been standing between two paths. One path is silence. The safe place where nothing changes and everything continues as it has before. The other path is honesty. A path where they allow their true thoughts to finally step into the light. And lately, something inside them has been gently pushing them toward that second path. Stay till the end, because the realization guiding them may surprise you. They began to notice something simple yet powerful. Whenever they imagine the future, your presence naturally appears in their thoughts. Not because they forced the idea. Not because they planned it. But because your connection has quietly become part of the way they see meaningful moments. And that realization made them stop and reflect deeply. Because when someone's presence begins to appear naturally in your vision of the future, it means something important has taken root in the heart. You have become part of the story they are imagining. Part of the conversations they hope to continue. Part of the laughter and calm moments they would like to experience again. That realization was unexpected even for them. But once they saw it clearly, it was impossible to ignore. Don't skip. Because something even more meaningful is unfolding right now. The truth they have been hiding is not dramatic. It is not complicated. It is something honest and deeply human. They value you. They appreciate the connection you share. And they feel that what exists between you has the potential to grow into something truly special. But here is the moment where everything may begin to change. Because the longer they hold this truth inside, the more they realize that silence no longer feels right. Honesty is beginning to feel necessary. Not rushed. Not forced. But natural. Something huge is waiting for you. Because very soon, a simple conversation, a quiet moment, or even a single unexpected sentence may reveal the truth they have been carrying all along. And when that moment arrives, you may finally understand why this connection has always felt different from the very beginning. And then, something unexpected happened that brought everything into sharper focus. Not through a dramatic event. Not through a sudden confession. But through a quiet realization that arrived when they least expected it. They noticed how different their world feels when you are part of it. Some days feel lighter when they hear from you. Certain moments feel more meaningful when you are involved. And the silence between conversations never feels empty, it feels like a pause before the next meaningful exchange. That realization stopped them in their tracks. Because suddenly the truth they have been hiding was no longer just an emotion. It became something undeniable. You have become someone whose presence genuinely matters in their life. Stay till the end, because the next thought that entered their mind changed everything. They began asking themselves a simple but powerful question. What if this connection is meant to be explored instead of hidden? What if the reason it feels so natural, so calm, so genuine, is because it holds the potential for something real? That question stayed with them. It appeared during quiet moments. It returned when they remembered your words. It resurfaced whenever they imagined the future. And every time it appeared, the same answer seemed to grow stronger. This connection deserves honesty. But honesty can feel like standing on the edge of a new chapter. It requires vulnerability. It requires trust. And most of all, it requires the courage to say something that cannot be taken back. So they paused again, reflecting deeply on what revealing their truth could mean. Not just for them, but for you. Don't skip, because the realization they reached next may be the most powerful one yet. They understood something that many people only realize much later in life. Connections that feel calm, genuine, and effortless are rare. And when such a connection appears, ignoring it can leave a quiet question in the heart for years. They do not want to carry that question. They want clarity. They want honesty. They want to know what this connection could become if both of you allow it to grow naturally. Something huge is waiting for you. Because the truth this person has been hiding is now closer than ever to becoming spoken words. And when that moment arrives, the conversation that begins may open a path neither of you fully expected, yet both of you may quietly be ready for. There is a quiet turning point in every story where hidden feelings finally gather the courage to step forward. That turning point is beginning to appear now. For a long time, this person believed silence was the safest choice. They convinced themselves that keeping their thoughts private would protect the natural rhythm of your connection. But something inside them has changed. The truth they have been hiding has grown stronger than their hesitation. It no longer feels like a small secret tucked away in the background of their mind. It feels like a message waiting to be spoken. And the most surprising part is this: the closer they come to revealing it, the more peaceful they begin to feel. Stay till the end. Because the realization guiding them now may surprise you. They recently understood something that shifted their perspective completely. Every meaningful connection in life begins with uncertainty. Two people meet, share moments, and slowly discover whether their paths are meant to continue together. But very few connections feel as natural as the one they share with you. There is no need to pretend. No pressure to become someone else. Just a simple sense of comfort that appears whenever you speak. And when they realized this, the hidden truth inside their heart became clearer than ever. You are not just someone they admire from a distance. You are someone they genuinely appreciate, someone they feel connected to in a way that feels rare. That realization gave them a new kind of courage. Not the loud kind, but the quiet courage that grows from honesty. Don't skip. Because the moment that may change everything is getting closer. They have begun imagining what might happen if they finally express what they feel. Not with dramatic words. Not with complicated explanations. Just with sincerity. A simple moment of openness. And strangely enough, that idea no longer feels frightening to them. It feels hopeful. Because sometimes the most meaningful chapters of life begin with one honest conversation. Something huge is waiting for you. Because the truth this person has been hiding is now standing right at the edge of being revealed. And when those words finally leave their heart and reach your ears, the connection you share may step into a new and unexpected direction that feels both surprising and beautifully natural. Just when everything seemed quiet on the surface, a powerful realization began rising inside this person's heart. Not suddenly, but steadily. Like a truth that has been waiting patiently for the right moment to be understood. For a long time they tried to keep their feelings organized and controlled. They believed that if they stayed calm and careful, nothing would change between you. But something inside them has finally accepted a simple fact. The connection they feel with you is no longer something small. It has grown into something meaningful, something that now carries real importance in their life. And that realization has begun changing the way they look at every interaction with you. Stay till the end, because the discovery that followed may be the most surprising part of this story. They started noticing something they had overlooked before. Whenever they thought about sharing the truth with you, their heart did not feel anxious. Instead, it felt lighter. Almost as if honesty was the natural direction this connection was meant to move toward. That feeling caught them by surprise. Because usually, hidden emotions create confusion. But the truth they carry about you does the opposite. It brings clarity. Clarity that you are someone worth being honest with. Someone whose presence feels genuine. Someone who understands the value of real conversations. And when they finally accepted that thought, a new idea quietly appeared in their mind. Maybe the reason this connection feels so different is because it was never meant to stay unspoken. Maybe the reason their thoughts keep returning to you is because something meaningful is trying to grow between you. Don't skip, because the next realization may change everything. They began imagining the moment when the truth is finally spoken. Not a dramatic scene. Not a perfect script. Just a sincere moment where they allow their heart to speak openly. And the more they imagine that moment, the more natural it feels. As if the connection between you has been slowly guiding them toward it all along. Something huge is waiting for you. Because the truth this person has been hiding is now closer than ever to being shared. And when that moment finally arrives, you may realize that the quiet signals, the thoughtful pauses, and the unspoken understanding between you were all leading to the same powerful revelation from the very beginning. Right now, something important is quietly reaching its final moment of clarity. For so long, this person carried their truth like a secret note folded inside their heart. They protected it carefully, unsure when the right moment would arrive. But lately, everything inside them has started pointing toward the same realization. The truth about you can no longer remain hidden. Because every time they reflect on your connection, they see something that is impossible to ignore. Consistency. You have remained genuine. You have remained thoughtful. You have remained someone whose presence feels calm and sincere. And those qualities have slowly built something powerful inside them. Respect. Appreciation. And a quiet feeling that your connection holds a deeper meaning than they first understood. Stay till the end, because the moment they recently experienced may surprise you more than anything else. Not long ago, during a simple moment of reflection, they asked themselves a question they had been avoiding. What if they never tell you the truth? At first it seemed like a safe thought. Life would simply continue as it is now. Conversations would stay comfortable. Nothing would risk changing. But when they imagined that future more clearly, something unexpected happened. It didn't feel peaceful. It felt incomplete. Because hiding something meaningful from someone who truly matters creates a quiet space in the heart that never feels fully settled. And that realization changed everything. For the first time, they began understanding that honesty is not something to fear. It is something that can open the door to something beautiful. Don't skip, because the next moment in this story may be the one that changes everything. They have started paying closer attention to the way you respond to them. The way your presence carries warmth. The way conversations with you feel effortless. And each time they notice these things, their confidence grows a little stronger. The truth they have been hiding is not something fragile. It is something sincere. Something that deserves to be shared. Something huge is waiting for you. Because the moment when this person finally allows their heart to speak is no longer a distant possibility. It is approaching. And when that moment arrives, the words they have been holding back may reveal a truth that explains why your connection has always felt quietly extraordinary from the very beginning. And now, the moment this entire journey has been quietly moving toward is finally here. All the pauses. All the silent reflections. All the thoughts this person kept carefully hidden inside their heart. They have all been leading to this single realization. The truth about you was never meant to stay hidden forever. Because the more they tried to keep it unspoken, the clearer it became. You are not just someone they happened to meet. You are someone who changed the rhythm of their thoughts. Someone whose presence brought a calm they did not expect. Someone whose conversation stayed in their mind long after they ended. And once they accepted that truth, something inside them shifted completely. Stay till the end, because the realization that followed may be the most meaningful of all. They finally understood why hiding their feelings had become so difficult. It wasn't because they were confused. It wasn't because they were uncertain. It was because the connection they feel with you is real. Simple. Genuine. And deeply meaningful. That clarity gave them something they did not have before. Confidence. Not loud confidence. But the quiet confidence that comes from knowing what the heart truly feels. And with that confidence came a powerful decision. They no longer want the connection between you to remain surrounded by silence. They want honesty. They want openness. They want to allow this connection to grow naturally, without the weight of hidden thoughts. Don't skip, because the most important realization of this entire story is about to be revealed. Sometimes, life places two people in each other's path not by coincidence, but by timing. A moment when both lives are ready to experience something meaningful. And when they look back at the journey that brought you together, every conversation, every shared moment, every quiet understanding, it begins to feel like those moments were slowly guiding them toward this truth. You matter to them. More than they expected. More than they planned. More than they ever imagined when this connection first began. Something huge is waiting for you. Because very soon, a conversation may happen that feels different from all the ones before. A moment where the honesty they have been holding inside finally becomes words. And when that moment arrives, you may realize something extraordinary. The truth this person was hiding was never meant to create distance.